Welcome to the Survivor to Thriver show with your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Do you feel stuck, silent, and stressed? Is something hurting your heart and soul? Are you burning yourself out? If so, you are in the right place because this is the podcast people from all over the world join in to learn exactly how to stop suffering and start living with inner peace and joy. Let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Survivor to Thriver show. Last episode, I raised a question that I promised to reflect on today. And that question was essentially the question of how to win friends and influence people. How to win friends and influence people. At one level, the answer to this question is very simple. And the answer is to treat other people the way you want to be treated. To model for others the qualities that you want them to emulate, to exhibit, to practice. If you want somebody to treat you with respect, with compassion, with empathy, then you have to be ready to treat that other person with respect, with empathy, with compassion, and so forth. If you want somebody to be around you and sort of live in an energy that is uplifting and happy and lighthearted, then you have to emulate, model those qualities in yourself. Right? Just think about it. As people, we have a very natural tendency to want to reciprocate. Right? So when someone treats us with kindness, does something nice for us, it naturally makes us want to do something nice for them. If someone, on the other hand, treats us with disrespect, with anger, then very likely the instinctive reaction we will have is to respond with anger and disrespect. So treating others the way we want to be treated. Modeling for others the qualities that we want them to exhibit and live by. And doing so not with the intention to manipulate, but from a place of truly valuing that way of being. See, because we see this happen all around us, don't we? Where people will act in a certain way because they believe that acting in that way will get them what they want. We can think about it, let's say, in the context of how many of our politicians act. Right, where they will go, and when it's election season, they'll go out into the communities of their voters, and they'll make all kinds of promises, and act humble, act generous, act, and all these different kinds of ways that they may think that will make people like them and give them their vote. And then once they're elected into office, into that position of power, if they feel secure in that position, they begin to then show their true colors, right? Or if they do not feel so secure, then on an outward level, they may continue to act in an appeasing way, but behind the scenes, they're doing something completely different. Or acting in a way that's completely different from what they're saying they will do in public. So we know that, we as humans, we also have the capacity to be very selfish, to become disconnected from the sense of concern that our conscience naturally has of when our behavior impacts someone else in a negative way, right? And when we behave in a way that's going to hurt someone else, if we allow ourselves to stay connected to our conscience, that will not be okay with us. We will not feel good behaving in those ways. However, we can become disconnected from our conscience. We can choose to ignore the voice of our conscience. But if you do that, if you ignore the voice of your conscience, see, sooner or later, that's going to impact you negatively. At least in the context of it's going to disturb your sense of inner peace. It's not going to allow you to live with a sense of contentment and fulfillment and inner peace and happiness. You may achieve other things by ignoring the voice of your conscience. You may acquire a certain level of power. You may acquire a certain level of success in terms of getting access to more money or other kinds of wealth or power. But if you suppress your conscience, if you disconnect yourself from the voice of your conscience and live in a way that disturbs your conscience, you're not going to be able to live with inner peace and joy and happiness. So don't do that. Don't do that. If you want to attract someone who will treat you with kindness and happiness, don't act kind and happy just to manipulate them into being with you. Like really, just be kind and happy. Be actually kind and happy. Now it may be that, you value kindness and happiness. Like I'll give you my own personal example. I have a great value for courageous action. And one of the most important ways in which I think any one of us can take courageous action is to speak up, to speak out whenever we see some kind of injustice happening. It takes a lot of courage to speak up, right, in those kinds of situations. Or it can, depending on what your relative situation is, what the relative context is. So I value that very much. And at the same time, I find myself struggling to act with as much courage as I know is optimal. As I struggle to act with as much courage as I desire, as I want to. If I as much as I know even that I can act with courage if I was being my best self, if I was living into being my best self. So I want to draw people in my life who have a lot of courage, who live with a lot of courage, who act with a lot of courage in their lives, so that I can be inspired and supported and uplifted by their courageous energy into acting with more courage myself. And that's perfectly fine. I don't need to be the best or to be able to live into the quality that I'm desiring to attract into my life in the context of a support person. I don't need to be the best at it or to live it perfectly. But I need to value it honestly. Right? And so from that honest place, when I live and from that honest place of wanting to become more courageous, I do the best that I can do with what I know and what I have to live as courageously as I can. And I allow myself to express what it is that I'm needing and wanting in terms of how I want to grow. And well, see, that will attract the right kind of persons towards me, right? In the context of the people who have this kind of value for courage as well, who are also living that value of courage and maybe doing so even better than I am, because they'll be like, Samia, she has this genuine value for courageous living, and she's doing the best she can, and we would love to support her and help her grow deeper into it, become even more courageous. So think about that. What are the qualities that you really need in an effective support person or your most effective support team? What are the qualities, the kind of people that you need to attract into your life? And then think about, okay, how can I live into those qualities, develop those qualities into myself to a greater degree, and communicate and share those values with other people, and let them know, hey, this is really important to me, and this is something that I want to grow into, and who can help me? Ask for help. Ask for support. Ask for what you need, what you want, and you shall receive. So with that thought, I will go ahead and give you my reminder that, hey, if this is something you find yourself struggling with, please do not continue to struggle with it on your own. Reach out for help and support. And you know that I'm one person you can reach out to. Just go to my website at www.academyofthriving.com, click on the Contact Us page, and you will see how we can connect. So until next time, I wish you lots of peace and joy.